I love leading games for retreats, so I wanted to share with you guys 5 games that you usually don't see that are sure to get your people mixing up, running around, and getting hype. The last 2 games are my personal favorites, the one that I've seen people get the most hype for, so make sure that you watch the video all the way up to the very end. The first game on my list is called People of the Mountain. The point of this game is to get as many teammates as you can into a limited space in a set amount of time. Each round will take around 2 minutes, and after the timer stops, a staff member will be able to count how many people each team has gotten into their hula hoop, or in my case, a cushion, and whichever team has the most amount of people wins. Now, in the case where teams have exactly the same amount of people inside of their set space, you can give extra points for creativity in order to give one team the edge over the other. This game is a great game to start with because it gets people talking to one another and gets people really close, like literally really close. The second game on the list is something called Creativity Tug of War. And it's basically a game of tug of war, but you're not allowed to use your hands and you can't wrap the rope around you in any sort of way. Tug of war is usually a game of strength and teamwork, but these added parameters force teams in order to be creative and talk to one another in order to strategize. Now, the many times I've used this game, I've seen some teams do some crazy things to create leverage without using their hands. And in this game too, I like to give creativity points when I see them doing something that's completely outside of the box. I like to give teams around 2 to 3 minutes to discuss how they're going to pull the rope, and then after those 2 or 3 minutes, they go up, they set up, and then let the tugging begin. The third game is called Kneetrembler, and it's one of the simplest games on the list, but it's a real banger if you want people's blood pumping. This game is essentially a relay race with a creative twist. Each team is lined up side by side with their respective hula hoops, or cushions in my case, far away from them. Each team is also given a set number of tennis balls, and each team has to get as many tennis balls as they can into that hula hoop within 3 minutes. The catch, and the really fun thing about this game, is that team members can only bring up their tennis balls by squeezing them between their knees, and you have to really try hard to drop off that tennis ball within inside of that hula hoop, because if that ball bounces out of that designated space, then they have to grab the ball and run back and tag the next person without getting a point. Now, this fourth game, one of my favorites, is called Wise Counsel. A staff member who is not a part of any of the teams is going to be sitting in one chair with an empty chair beside him. This staff member is going to pretend to be angry or sad or frustrated or agitated, whatever. One by one, the teams are going to send one representative up to sit beside the staff in the empty chair and ask that staff what the problem is. The staffer will then answer by saying a difficult scenario that they are facing currently in their lives. Like, they might be doing really bad at school, or maybe even someone that they love is going to die soon. And I like mixing in some problems that are just really silly, like maybe, I don't know, somebody farted and you can't get the smell of their fart out of your nose. The representative who's sitting beside the staff member then has to give the best advice that they can to the staffer within inside of a 1-minute time limit. The staff is going to then stop the scene and then give a grade based on how good the advice was.
What's wrong?
Well, there's this girl at church that I really like, but she keeps hanging out with these other guys, and I don't know, like, I'm such a loser.
Hey, listen, man, it's alright, man. You know what my gym teacher told me one time? That there's a lot of fishes out there. And you know what? If a girl doesn't have interest in you, forget about it. Okay? If you have no history with her, forget about it. There's a lot of girls out there that are way better than that one. Do you know what a red flag I see? She already hangs out with a lot of other guys. So don't do that, okay? Watch out.
After a couple rounds, the team with the best average scores wins. In the many times I've used this game, I've seen some hilarious answers, some terrible answers, and some really amazing answers that got the oohs and ahs going in the crowd. Now, the last game is called Rap Battle. Each team will send up a representative who will be given a random passage of scripture and a random beat that they're gonna rap that passage of scripture over. Now, don't worry if you think that your members in your church can't rap, because it's not about rhyming. And it's really not even really about creativity. What it's about is how well you play to the crowd while you're rapping. Judges will then give teams points based on their musicality and their charisma. people hype out of their mind. I've had some people who really killed it while rapping scripture. They just went so hard on the beat and their charisma was so amazing that people got bumping to the beat while they were rapping. I've created a PPT that you could download in the description below that has all the passages, scriptures that I've personally picked out, and also comes with like a slide with all the beats inside of it. This game requires a computer, it requires PowerPoint, and it's gonna require a way to amplify the sound, the beats that are coming out. Okay, so guys, I hope you enjoyed that video, and if you have any of these games in mind, please try it out. I swear, it's gonna be great. Your kids are gonna love it, your youth are gonna love it, even young adults are gonna love it. So if you did enjoy, please like it.